Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I want to be talking about some other things than I usually do. I want to chat a little bit about hyped up brands and the possible pitfalls of being a hyped up brand. I just have some ideas about this that I want to share with you guys, so let's get right into the video. So if you haven't been on my channel before, my name is Marley and I love making YouTube videos about makeup and beauty. I love doing looks, swatches, reviews, will I buy it videos, all those kinds of things. So if that sounds good to you, then don't forget to subscribe. I usually upload about 2 to 3 videos a week and I would love to see you again on my channel. So the brand that I actually want to talk about today is Natasha Denona. This is a brand that is so popular right now. Whenever she releases something, everybody goes wild, everybody is so excited, everybody reviews it, everybody loves it. And I feel like the whole beauty community is just waiting for her to release something again. When there are some sneak peeks, everybody just holds their breath and waits to see what it is. And I just feel like a lot of this is hype that is created in a beauty community. Everybody is excited and therefore everybody is excited. And everybody just buys things because it is Natasha Denona, because it's such a hyped up brand. And I feel like a lot of people just get swept up in the hype of this brand. Of course, this is my feeling, this is my view. This isn't the absolute truth, you can disagree with me, but I just have some thoughts about this. And I just feel like there is definitely a downside to being such a hyped up brand. And also in this video I might make some predictions, have some ideas of what might happen, but of course this doesn't have to happen at all. These are just some thoughts that I had after the new Zendo palette was released. Because when this palette was released, I was so excited. I was just waiting for that reveal, and from the moment that she said it's gonna be revealed in 2 hours, I was just waiting for it. Like, it felt like my life stood still and I just wanted to know so bad. And before she even revealed it, I was like, I am probably gonna buy it. And then after I actually saw it, I was so excited for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then I realized, why am I so excited? Why do I want this so much? There isn't actually anything about this release. Why do I already want it before I know what it's gonna be? I mean, I don't even love the formula that much. I really like the Mini Glam palette. I also tried the Mini Love. I was pretty disappointed in that. So why am I so excited? It's also a pretty expensive brand. So there doesn't really seem to be a basis for that excitement that I felt. So I began to think, where does this actually come from? And I feel like this excitement that I felt is really comparable to how I felt about Anastasia Beverly Hills a few years ago. Because a few years ago, Anastasia Beverly Hills was so hyped up. Everybody bought all the eyeshadow palettes. Every time they released something, everybody just went wild. And especially around the time that like Sultry and the Riviera palette were released, I was just like, I don't even know what it is yet, but I already want it. Like when the Riviera palette was almost being released, when it was clear at what time exactly it was going to be released, I was just counting the minutes down to see what it was and was already feeling like I wanted it, but I didn't even really know why. I also hadn't really tried the brand that much. I hadn't really tried that much of their eyeshadow formula, and still I really got swept up in this hype. And I just feel like a lot of us get swept up in this hype without really knowing why. And with the Zendo palette in the end, I was like, $65 is a lot for something that you don't really want. That you just want because everybody else wants it. And I feel like there are more brands that actually do this to people. That people are just so hyped up before it is even released. Everybody already wants to buy it, and no matter what it actually is, people are so excited about it. I feel like brands like Melt, Pat McGrath, maybe also Charlotte Tilbury kind of have this vibe around them, have this ability to make people excited just because they are that brand. So what is actually the problem here? I kind of see a downside here, both for consumers and for the brand themselves. And I kind of got this idea from the comparison that I made in my head between ABH and Natasha Denona. Because I feel at this point Natasha Denona is playing quite a similar role in my life as ABH was back in the day. It might seem like a really good thing that a brand is so hyped up because so many people are buying their stuff, everybody is spending so much money on these brands, and they seem very successful, and they are very successful. But I feel like once a brand becomes this hyped up, we are no longer excited about the products themselves. We are no longer excited about the launch itself and the thing we actually buy. We are excited about the idea of the brand. The brand just has this certain image in our minds, and that is what we really get excited about. We get excited about the idea that it represents, and we have this idea of the brand, and that is what we want, and that is what we are so into. I feel like we get stuck in like this wave of excitement, and we no longer see the brand for what it actually is. So it is more about the idea than about the actual brand, the actual products, and the reality of the brand. And I feel this is kind of like a bubble. A bubble is forming that can so easily burst because the excitement is not based on reality. The excitement is actually based on an idea, and that idea isn't what actually exists. So it's really fragile. This image that we have built up in our minds, it's so fragile, and I feel like it can so easily burst. The bubble can so easily burst. And I feel like it's so hard for these brands to actually live up to the idea that the customers have of them, to really make true what people are so excited about. I feel like that's almost impossible to do. It's a very fine line, a very difficult line they have to walk, and they have to do what people expect of them. Otherwise, the reality is no longer the same as the idea. And I feel like with ABH, that is kind of what happened. People were so excited about this brand and about their products because of the whole hype about it, but then they started releasing more and more, and the bubble actually burst. People couldn't buy all the releases anymore. There were just too many releases for such an expensive brand, and there wasn't enough time between these releases to actually keep this excitement. There wasn't enough time to build up this excitement. And I feel like this build up, this time between releases, that is actually really needed to build excitement, especially for more expensive brands, but I feel like for brands in general. And I feel like the fact that the excitement for ABH died down so easily and so quickly kind of shows that it wasn't about the products themselves. The excitement wasn't about the actual releases, the actual products, but just about this very specific image that we had created of this brand in our minds. Because the products were basically the same. They were releasing the same products, they were releasing the same quality eyeshadow palettes, but people didn't buy them anymore because when the idea faded, not much was left of this brand. And I also feel like it's really hard for a brand to actually come back from this. If you've been really hyped up and then everybody got so disappointed, I don't feel like it's really easy to create that excitement again. I feel like people hype up a brand so much and people just are so excited about every release, and everybody just really gets swept up in this hype, and people just love the brand because everybody else loves it. I feel like the relationship between the brand and the customer barely exist because it is based on this idea and it isn't based on reality. It's just based on the opinions of so many other people, but not on your own opinion of that brand. In my mind, I kind of compare this with being in love with the image you have of someone. For example, when you just start dating someone and you make up all these stories in your mind of what you're gonna do, what they're gonna be like, how it's gonna be like when you meet their parents, what vacations you're gonna go on, when you're gonna get married, what kind of dog and kids you're gonna have. When you just start dating someone, you don't know all this stuff. And then if you start fantasizing about them, you fall in love with the idea of them and not the actual person. And then when you start to get to know them a little bit better and start to think about it a little bit more, you probably will realize that they are not the person you thought they were. And maybe you're not that in love with them as you actually thought. And then you might realize maybe getting married and having 3 babies isn't the best idea. I feel like when people are into a brand that they genuinely love and they actually really enjoy the products and the quality and this love is based on actual experience, I feel like the bond between the brand and the customer is much stronger and it's really based on something, and then it is not that easy for the brand to actually disappoint the customer. And in that case, a change of pace in releasing isn't just gonna break that bond, because the customer really enjoys the products, really enjoys the quality, and actually wants to use the products and buy the products no matter if there is that excitement or not. I feel like a relationship based on hype can't be as strong, because then you base your image of a brand on the idea that exists in the community and not on the experience and the true enjoyment of products. Of course, I'm not saying that people don't really enjoy any of these brands' products. Of course, there are gonna be a lot of people that enjoy them, but I also feel like a lot of people will buy these products because they are so hyped up, and that is the bubble that can actually burst. And those are the customers that are gonna really easily fall away when the excitement dies down. And those are also the customers that are gonna be disappointed when a brand doesn't do exactly what they expect of them. When they do a few launches that aren't that exciting, when they release more than they can actually keep up with. I almost feel like there's this core of customers that really loves the brand, and then there are a lot of people surrounding that, like floating around that aren't like that intrinsically motivated to buy the brand, but mainly are so excited to see what they come out with because everybody is so excited about it. I just feel like Natasha Denona is kind of moving in the direction of ABH, because they are an expensive brand, but it is being normalized to buy and want everything. And a lot of people actually buy and want everything that Natasha Denona releases. This brand gets so much hype nowadays on YouTube, but I feel like just so many people are buying from this brand right now. And this brand is just highly anticipated whenever she releases something. I feel like everybody and their mother is buying it. But of course, this is just my opinion, my view on it. Maybe you don't agree with me. These are just the vibes I get in the beauty community right now. But what I kind of see happening right now with Natasha Denona is that she is releasing more and more makeup. She just released the Circo Loco, now she is releasing the Midi Zendo palette, and I feel like she's gonna be releasing more in the summer. I just feel like she's releasing quite a lot, and her products are still very pricey. The Midi palette might seem very cheap in comparison to the big palette that's 130 euros or something. It might seem cheaper, but it's still 65 euros or $65. It's still a lot of money. It just seems less in comparison. She is just releasing a lot of really expensive products. And I think soon there's gonna be a point that people can't keep up anymore and that people can't buy all those expensive releases anymore. And I just feel like this is going to cost her some customers very soon. Of course, it doesn't have to be that this is gonna be exactly the same as what happened with ABH, but I just see some similarities here. Especially when I look at my own behavior, my own excitement, the way I view this brand right now, and just the launch of the Zendo palette and the launch of the Riviera palette, and the way I behaved, the way I thought about it, the way I wanted it before I even saw it. I just feel like that is so similar, and I just feel like both of those situations with both of those palettes had the same cause, were caused by the same thing, by the hype surrounding it. I mean, I have so many beautiful eyeshadows and I almost spent $65 on an eyeshadow palette that I probably won't love the quality of that much, and has colors that I don't even need, already have, don't even think are that special. I just think sooner or later some people are gonna realize that they don't actually love the brand, and they are gonna fall off the wagon. They are not gonna purchase from her anymore. I just don't think that this excitement that is based on this idea can continue for very long. I just feel like it has to end somewhere. In general, I just think it's better for a brand if they have some really loyal customers that really genuinely love the products and the quality. And I just feel like if customers are in love with the idea of a brand and not the actual reality of a brand, they are gonna be disappointed soon, because that idea and the reality just aren't the same thing, and they are gonna realize that. A brand is just a brand. A brand is a magical. A makeup brand is in the end just another makeup brand. They aren't that much better than other makeup brands. That's just what we think about them. We just put them on a pedestal that they are going to fall off. It is just makeup in the end, and it is just a makeup brand. And I also think maybe it might be good for consumers to kind of reflect on their behavior when it comes to these hyped up brands. Why do we want this? Why do we want to buy it so bad? Do we really love this that much? Were we really impressed by the eyeshadows that we already got from them? Or are they just getting dusty, and are they going unused in our drawers? Why did I wait so impatiently to see what the eyeshadow palette would look like? To see the reveal the very first second and to be waiting for that reveal. Why did I do that? I mean, there are indie brands where I would understand it much more, who have much more special formulas, different colors, more inspired color stories, at least to me, that I love more. But even after saying all this, and even if people would actually listen to me and kind of reflect on this situation, I don't think much is gonna change in the beauty community. I think it is inevitable that we're gonna have some hyped up brands. That's just what happens when there's a whole ton of people, a whole ton of makeup, and sometimes something is just gonna be hyped up so much. It's just what happens in big groups of people, you know? So I'm not saying that we shouldn't do this anymore, that this shouldn't exist, or that is really bad. It's just, think about it as a consumer. Why do I want to buy this? And also I think it's interesting to realize that being hyped up and really having this hype surrounding something, that can have a downside. We as consumers might think that that brand is doing so well, but maybe in a few years people might actually be too disappointed to still buy from them, like what happened with ABH. So I just hope that I was able to make you think a little bit. These are just some thoughts that I had, some things that I was reflecting on, that I was thinking about around the launch of the Zendo palette. And this is just all my viewpoint, my opinion. This doesn't have to happen. You don't have to agree with me at all. I just feel like being really hyped up, being put on a pedestal, also goes together with really high expectations that can't always be met, and then it is much easier also to disappoint people and to lose that hype. And I feel like there are more brands that this could possibly happen to, that could follow in the footsteps of ABH. So let me know in the comments if you agree with me. Do you think this could possibly happen? Do you think Natasha Denona is overhyped? I would love to hear your thoughts and discuss this a little bit further in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!